Welcome everyone to Shades of Reality, Truth, Talk and Transformation. I'm your host, Jordan, joined by
Fallak.
today we'll be discussing many different aspects of racism and prejudice. So to get started, what's the difference between racism and prejudice?
Well, racism is when someone believes their race is superior and uses that belief to oppress others, whereas prejudice is more of a preconceived opinion about someone based on their race.
Thank you for that. So, how does racism impact mental health?
Well, racism it can lead to stress, anxiety, depression. It's like carrying an invisible weight that never really goes away. People who experience racism might constantly feel like they have to prove themselves or defend their identity, which is exhausting.
Thank you. More so, if I should ask, can subtle form of racism like microaggressions really cause harm?
Absolutely. Well, microaggressions are those everyday comments or that might seem small, but chip away at a person's sense of belonging and self worth. Because over time, it can lead to significant emotional and psychological harm.
Really good, really good. So, why is it important to talk about privileges when discussing racism?
Well, privilege it refers to advantages some people have just because of their race, gender, or other aspects of their identity. Acknowledging privilege it's key because it helps us understand that racism isn't just about individual acts of hate, but like also about systemic inequalities that give some people an unfair leg up, unfortunately.
So, do you think the media plays a role in perpetuating racism?
Yeah, well, the media the media often reinforces stereotypes by portraying certain racial groups in negative or limited roles, and this shapes the public's perception and can justify or normalize racist attitudes. But on the flip side, media also has the power to challenge these stereotypes and promote diversity, which is why representation matters.
Exactly, it doesn't matter at all. How does racism affect opportunities in education and employment?
Racism, well, it can limit access to quality education, which can lead to few opportunities later in life. Even with the same qualifications, people of color might face discrimination in hiring, promotions, and salaries. And this creates a cycle where inequality is passed down from one generation to the next.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, so, why is it important for people who do not experience racism to get involved in fighting it?
Well, racism isn't just a problem for those who experience it. It's it's everyone's problem. When bystanders speak up and take action, it sends a message that racism won't be tolerated. It also helps create a more equitable society for everyone, not just those directly affected by racism.
So any solutions to someone who wants to combat their own prejudice?
Well, I would say the first obvious answer, which is awareness, and that's because we all have biases, so it's important to recognize them. Educating yourself, listening to others' experiences, and just challenging your own assumptions that can all go a long way. It's a process, but being open to growth is key.
That's very insightful of you. If I should say, how does systemic racism differ from individual acts of racism?
Well, systemic racism is built into institutions like schools, workplaces, and the legal system. It's not just about individual actions, but also about policies and practices that unfairly disadvantage certain groups. It's like a set of rules that are rigged to benefit some while holding others back.
Thank you for that. So, Falak, if I should ask you, what can communities do to address racism locally?
Well, communities can start by having open conversations about race and racism, also supporting local policies that promote equality, investing in education, and just creating inclusive spaces where everyone feels valued. And these are just all important steps. It's just about building a culture of respect and understanding.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciate it from you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, so these questions and answers are designed to spark discussions, raise awareness, and encourage listeners to think critically about racism and prejudice in a way that's both informative and accessible. Thank you for listening once again. This is Shades of Reality, Truth Talk Transformation. I'm your host, Jordan, joined by
Fallak.
Thank you for your time.